Hey everyone, it's Ian Miller,
What's going on, guys? It's Andrew.
and welcome back to another episode of Be It Talk with Ron Smith. Tonight we actually have a topic which is interesting because we just saw a Broadway play at our favorite theater, Hudson Theater. It's called Waiting for Godot. But before we actually get into that, oh, yeah, before we get into it, we actually do have to talk very briefly about something that happened a couple of nights ago. As many of you know now, Rob Reiner, a celebrated actor and director, and his wife had tragically passed away. We're not going to go into the specific details of it because many of you have already, read it or seen people talk about it, but it was just shocking and heartbreaking at the same time.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I was in complete shock. About how it happened like that, and obviously who was involved. Like you said, we won't get into that. Um, but I never really saw some of his early work. I don't know if you had that. I apologize. I don't know if you have.
Yeah,
Um, but I think I saw maybe like a few movies of his later work, but he was a really talented actor.
yeah. Obviously, he was known as Mike Stivic in All in the Family,
Hmm.
and he went to direct on these great movies. Obviously, The Princess Bride, Spinal Tap,
Hmm.
and Spinal Tap 2, which that sequel had just gotten released this past year as a big hit on HBO Max. Then, of course, you have When Harry Met Sally,
Yeah,
one of the most
I actually remember that.
influential,
Yeah.
romantic comedies. There's actually an interesting story that he actually tells there, because apparently the original ending for that movie was Harry and Sally don't get together, and Reiner didn't want to keep to that ending because he didn't believe at that point, in you know second chance at love at that point. Because he had been divorced for a number of years.
Hmm.
And what's ironic was he actually met his wife on that production, and they fell in love, and that changed his perspective. It's like, okay, you know what? Harry and Sally should be together.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you have A Few Good Men, you know, and that was a very well directed movie. But yeah,
Yep.
we pretty much grew up with this guy. If we think about it, we grew up with his work. Whether we see it, either the sitcom or the movies, we've grown up with him pretty much. So we're all feeling it, and I know his close friends, their close friends, are feeling it. In fact, Billy Crystal himself was actually present, at the house when after it happened.
Wow.
He only stayed. He only stayed for about maybe a couple of minutes. And there's some photographs where you can physically, tell that he was, emotional because they've been friends for a long time.
Yeah. I think the last I think the last movie I saw him in was what was it? The Wolf of Wall Street with
Yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio. I
yeah,
think that was the last movie I saw him in.
yeah. And he did a couple of guest spot appearances on The Good Fight.
Hmm.
That's a show that my mom worked on as a makeup artist,
Hmm.
and they got along very well. He was a very nice guy. And what's even crazier was the Obamas were actually supposed to see them that night because they were close friends as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, so many people are just having their own feelings about the treasure passing. Obviously, we clearly aren't ourselves. So to Rob and Michelle's family members, we send our condolences.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And Rob and Michelle, wherever you are, Um, you had a good life. You really did. And I'm sorry that these events took you away from us.
All too soon.
Rest in peace, guys. I guess that's a good segue to get into our main topic.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. Um, so we went to see Waiting for Godot with Keanu
Mhm.
Reeves and Alex Winter on the Hudson Theater, and I have to say, we pretty much sat in almost in every section of Hudson Theater. It's still the most comfortable seats that I've ever sat in, especially with a leg room.
Yeah, I told you that when we first sat down. I was like, where we were sitting. I mean, we were in the corners, but it was still a good view. We could obviously see, so it was great. But I told you when I sat down, like, I asked you, like, does this feel a little bit more roomier? Like,
It did.
feels a little more. It feels a little more spacious.
It did. It really did. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was talked about it for about 5 minutes before the curtain went up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this particular production was obviously directed by Jamie Lloyd, who we obviously knew his work on Sunset Boulevard, and we loved that
Mhm.
production.
Yep.
We didn't know what we were getting into when we came in to see the show. We'd heard certain things about it,
Mhm.
but we actually did a little research before we actually saw it. It's actually a play that was written by Irish playwright Samuel Beckett.
Yeah, that was.
And yeah,
I believe that was in 1952.
yeah. And the interesting thing is, it's been on there's been many productions of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, most famously, there was one with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. I would have loved to have seen that. That would have been interesting, you
Yeah.
know. And there was one with Nathan Lane and Bill Irwin. You know, there's been a number of them, but those are the two that really stood out for me because obviously we knew those guys.
Yeah. No, I would have loved to see it with you with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. I mean, because we both know like how close they are in real life.
Yeah,
So I think that
that
would be
I
enough.
mean, yeah, that would have been fun. That would have been fun. Yeah, so I think to really talk about this play is interesting because it's sort of a comedy, but it's also a tragedy as well. So
Hmm.
the phrase is tragic comedy or
Yeah.
dramedy if you think about it. But it's about these two characters, Vladimir and Estragon. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I do apologize. And they're waiting for Godot,
Hmm.
and he never comes. But during the course of these two acts, they're talking about different thoughts they're having. Pretty much, in essence, it's what is the meaning of life?
Yeah. I mean, they're really sitting by this tree, um, and they're just discussing, like you said, but they're discussing a whole variety of issues per se.
Yeah, pretty much the absurdity of life, and without really saying it, the existence of God, because
Hmm.
the play actually has so many different interpretations. It could be political, it could be religious. We definitely got the religious part in there because clearly, I think Godot was God, and they were looking
Yep.
for some sign of him, especially in the first two acts. What's interesting about the first two acts, and I'm going to spoil it a little bit, is that the first act they meet these two characters,
Hmm.
Bozo and Lucky, you know, and but Bozo and Lucky are sort of easygoing in a way. One is clearly one servant, one is clearly the master, but you know they seem to be okay. There seems to be a positivity between them,
Yeah.
even though one is clearly a servant.
Yeah. I mean, I think Pazzo was a traveler, and then Lucky was a slave.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, they. they seem to be very, very, nice and gracious.
Yeah, and they're just going about their day, just traveling when they run into Vladimir and Estragon.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got that time. I pronounced it right.
Estragon, yeah.
Yeah, and they're intrigued by them. They're intrigued, and they talk to him for a while, and the mute Lucky goes into a sudden dance and monologue after Butzo says think, because he wants to entertain Vladimir Estragon, and they're just mesmerized by it. And it was a very wonderful performance by a man who was a very good actor, but he was also obviously in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to how that happened, at the end of the story, because it's a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually they go about the way, and a boy appears and explains to Vladimir Estragon that he's a messenger from Godot, and Godot will not be arriving that night, but most surely he'll be arriving tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, and then Vladimir, asked the boy for all these descriptions of Gato. But the boy is kind of only not really giving a whole lot of answers to them. Just little bits and pieces. And then the boy leaves.
Yeah. And Vladimir and Estragon are just like, what do we do now? And it's
Yeah.
actually Estragon who actually, suggests they should just go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't know exactly go where, maybe it's up to the viewer's interpretation. We don't exactly know where. But when Act 2 comes up, it's like the whole thing starts all over again. But it has a different effect. Yes, Vladimir and Estragon are waiting for Gato. They're still waiting. They're still by the tree. But something's happened. There's noticing there's more leaves on the tree than there were in Act 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lucky and Pazzo reappear, but they're not the same. Pazzo is now blind, and Lucky is fully mute.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go on.
Sorry. Go.
No, go on.
No. And then what was also interesting, also kind of a little confusing at first, but Pazzo doesn't even recall meeting them. He doesn't even recall seeing them, talking to them, anything until that moment. So, it was kind of like, you know, what happened? Like, why do you not remember me? Not remember us? Like, we just talked to you yesterday.
As a thing, Vladimir is the only one that actually remembers having conversations with them. Estragon
Yeah.
doesn't remember them at all.
Yeah.
And they can't really agree on when was the last time they actually saw them. And then suddenly, after they're gone, the boy reappears again, and once again says that Gato will not be coming, and hopefully
Mhm.
they'll come tomorrow. But Vladimir asks, again, have asks the boy, "Have you seen me before? Have you seen us before?" The boy's like, "No, I haven't seen you before," because I think it was a different boy where they put on the stage, right? It's like in Act 2.
It was the same boy, wasn't it?
Let me take a look at the playbill.
I'm pretty sure it was the same boy.
That was two different. There's two different kids. Yeah, it's different kid. They're two different
Okay.
kids.
Okay, because to me it kind of sounded the boys kind of sounded the same to me. So I thought,
No, there's no
yeah,
those are kids. So yeah. So after the boy leaves, Lemmer and Estragon actually consider suicide by hanging from the tree. So now we get a full understanding of what they meant, in fact, one saying, let's go. And this is the interesting thing. Estragon actually takes a rope that he had tied around his pants, and as you can imagine, it just was around Keanu Reeves' ankles. I mean,
yeah,
okay, all right, and yeah, but it's not long enough. It's not long enough for them to hang themselves. So they decide to leave and return the next day with a rope, and that's pretty much how it ends.
yeah. I
So
mean,
it's a bit more intellectual than we've seen in other productions on the channel.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, it was like you said earlier. It's kind of like make your own ending kind of thing. Like they can come back tomorrow, and do they commit, consider suicide when they come back to the tree, and do they come back with a rope, or do they maybe just, do the same thing and wait for Godot? I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of like a, yeah.
you know what it was like? It was like almost a multiverse situation. In Act One, you have a
Hmm.
more positive universe, where you have Lucky and Putzo, going about the day, nothing really bad happening to them specifically.
Right.
Then Act Two, all that's changed. It's the negative side.
Hmm.
At least that's how I view it, but again, we understand the concept of multiverse a bit because of the movies and television that we've seen, but that's what I got from it. There's two possible outcomes.
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about it. I think when the intermission, and then after the show, it was kind of like this time time loop thing.
Yeah,
Something happened in time, and then everything just changed to negative. So we talked a little bit about that.
yeah. I hate to say, even as I was sitting back and we watched when after a couple of days after we saw it, it started to sink. Okay, I think I understand a bit more about it than I
Hmm.
did originally when I watched it on the stage. But still, you get mesmerized by the dialogue, by the acting. I mean, for God's sakes, you forget how good of an actor Keanu Reeves actually is. I mean, you know him obviously from The Matrix, the John
Hmm.
Wick movies. A lot of times in those performances, he's restrained, he's holding back. With this, he wasn't really holding back. He had a good balance between the comedy and the drama.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of easy for him, in this show because both of these actors were in Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
So, I
Oh,
mean, for a lot of you,
there was a nice Bill and Ted callback. I'm sorry to interrupt.
no, no, you're good. Yes, there was uh, a Bill and Ted reference in the show there. But you know, they're close, they're friendly with each other, so this was kind of easy for him given they did 3 movies together.
Yeah. And Alex Winter, my God, that guy could do Shakespeare because there's a way he delivered it. I was like, he could probably play Hamlet, or do Richard III or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it was that good of a performance. And let's not forget the other actors in the production as well. I mean, let me just pull it out again.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the other actors who played Pato was Brandon J. Durden, and the one that played Lucky was Michael Patrick Thornton.
Yeah, yeah, he was the gentleman in the wheelchair, and again, we'll get to his story in a minute. But yeah, these two other guys were very good, you
Hmm.
know, in both acts. I was very impressed. And at the end of the show, they did a couple things. They were doing the annual donation, to prevent AIDS. You
Yeah.
know,
I'm sorry. I was just
because
stopped thinking about what happened in the last few seconds of the
well,
what they
well,
did.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
It was funny.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, Michael Patrick Thornton was talking about you know donations, especially the holiday season,
Yeah.
and he was telling us his story because his story was not unlike Lucky because he had some sort of accident. He was in a coma for a number of years. He couldn't speak,
Yeah.
so he had to learn how
It
to
was,
speak again.
hmm.
And I'm like, wow, that's just incredible.
It's a
That's your
miracle.
miracle right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's your miracle story.
because a guy who could go from that, from his accent, from a coma and learn how to speak again, that's something short of a miracle. I mean, my God.
Exactly.
So I was just impressed with the story. And what happened next, that was something else entirely. Now, in order to raise money, obviously they need to auction off a couple of things.
Yeah.
One of which was a poster signed by the cast. Another was one of the bowler hats signed by Keanu Reeves himself.
Yep.
And they were having a live auction. In fact, the one who played Puzzo actually was the auctioneer.
Hmm. Yep.
And Smith and I were both like, is this really happening? Are we really witnessing this? And they went to an insane numbers.
Hmm.
Then there was one woman in the balcony who made a bid, and correct me if I'm wrong, and pretty much said, I don't have any money, but I would still like to buy it. I would still like to bid it. And we were just going, what is she, nuts? She's bidding on a piece, of Keanu Reeves merchandise and has no money to back it up.
And now one of the funny parts is that um she wanted them to give her $6,700 for the hat.
Now,
$6,700.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And she wanted that. She
Mm-hmm.
wanted them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, no, we can't do that. But I give her credit for even attempting that because I've never heard of something like that ever happening. Even at an auction.
I've never seen that before from an auction.
I've never even seen an auction happen at a Broadway theater. Who does that?
I mean, it's to raise money. I mean, I get
Well,
that.
yeah, they were trying to beat Lion King.
Yeah. Yeah, they were competing against Lion King.
I think they did. I think they got close. At least I hope it got close.
I think a studio won. I forgot what show it was.
Yeah.
I thought they announced it. I don't remember.
Anyway, yeah. So it was a good show. It really was a good show, and I
Yeah.
did enjoy the performances very much.
No, yeah, same. The actors did a credible job. The lighting, the stage and everything. I mean, even though on the stage it was just this big round, you know,
That's the
uh,
thing with Jamie Lloyd. He likes to do minimal, sets.
yeah.
I mean, we learned that obviously from Sunset Boulevard, where there was
Hmm.
no set. And I was like, okay, this is a bold interpretation. And I'd seen photos of past productions when I forgot where they actually had, an actual tree, in the
Yeah.
stage, so you could see, okay, where that is. and some props here and there. But yeah, Lloyd doesn't like to use props, which it does. I think make the actors a bit. It makes it more challenging for the actors because they had to now imagine certain things.
Hmm.
But it was fine, because we got the message.
Yeah, I mean, um, like you know, I started to get a little confused in the beginning, like what was going on, like what's happening right now, and then once it got to intermission, and then a little bit through the act two, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get a feel of what's going on now, like what they're doing, what they're waiting for now. So, um, it was very well done.
Yeah, the first 5 minutes, I looked at the set. I was like, "Are they inside of a drain pipe?"
Hmm.
Because that's what it pretty much looks like.
Pretty
But
much.
again, this is an interpretation, and then after a while, you get it. You get what the director is trying to say and what the set designer
Yeah.
is trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was definitely impressed with it, and it's got a couple weeks left. It's got literally 2 weeks left because the show ends on January 4th,
Hmm.
and I think you guys should really see it because it really does make you question a lot of things.
Yeah. It kind of makes you think about what's going on like in life, and they talk about their lives, and just it as my co-star said, it just kind of makes you think a little bit.
Yeah, these two guys were very close. They were like an old bickering married couple. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that's what happens when you become friends with someone for so long. You can become more than a friend. You just become a brother, and then eventually, at some point, just like a bickering friendship. We don't have that. We don't have that.
I was waiting for you to kind of say something in there, because we don't really have that.
No, we don't have that. We
No,
never have that.
we never have that.
No, we actually don't have that with Feller either. So
We have moments.
now,
Wait. We
okay,
have
okay. As I
moments.
said, as I said that yeah, we do have some moments, but that's about it.
Yeah.
It's just mostly when he's quoting movie lines, which is
Yeah.
not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
And seeing sequels when they shouldn't be. But anyway.
Namely, the sequels that were direct to DVD sequels. We're
Hmm.
not gonna say which franchise because I don't want to embarrass them.
Failure, you already know which one.
Yeah,
Um,
we're not gonna say it.
no, we won't.
Going Feller, Hollywood Planet. Inside joke, folks. Inside joke.
Inside joke, yes. But yeah, I enjoyed the performance. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winters did a tremendous job. This is I think this is actually my first time ever seeing him like in person. I don't think I've ever seen Keanu Reeves actually in person before. So that was
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
and in quite a role like this, I was like, wow. I was really blown away by his performance and
Yeah.
Alex's performance.
Yeah.
Everyone was great. Everyone was great.
Yes. No, definitely. Um, but yes, the show's open for a couple more weeks. Does conclude on January 4th. So you should absolutely get tickets if you can. Maybe, could be a family Christmas thing. I'm not sure if they're open for Christmas, but if they're not,
I
maybe,
don't know.
yeah, you know, 2 days before Christmas or after Christmas. I mean,
Yeah,
but, you know, go see with your family, or it's a tremendous show.
yeah. That's waiting for Godot at the Hudson Theater, and tell them Mia Talk sent you.
Yes, please.
Okay, so one or two things, obviously, before we actually end. Um, As many of you know, that Avatar: Ash and Fire is going to be released this weekend.
Fire and Ash.
Fire and Ash. I'm sorry, Cameron. I'm very sorry. We're debating on whether to see it because we didn't love the second one as much as we did the first one. So we're debating it.
Yes. Yeah.
If,
Um, I'm I'm curious about it. If this will be the final movie, because they did, some of the actors and kind of did hint that this could be the final movie. Um, it all depends on if this movie really does well. Um, so I'm very curious. Mostly, well, not mostly, but I kind of am leaning towards going because they do have multiple trailers premiering during Fire and Ash. One of them is Avengers Doomsday. So I'm
yes.
very, very curious about that.
What's interesting is there's actually four trailers of Avengers Doomsday. One of them did leak online. I didn't see the footage because, again, I like to see the official release. That's the first thing. And
Yeah.
second, we're getting some hints or confirmations that a certain character returns to in the movie. Now, again, there's no confirmation, obviously, from this particular actor, but we've seen some photos. But we have to wait and see if it's legit or not because, again, we got a lot of fake trailers coming out here and there sometimes in the last couple of years. So we have to wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, we won't say who it is. I mean, it was kind of released yesterday, so I'm sure most of you already saw it. But for
I'm
those
pretty
who
sure they
didn't,
all saw it.
I'm sure they
I'm
all
pretty sure
saw
they
it.
all saw it. Yeah.
But if this particular character does come back to the movie, he has specifically said that he didn't want to touch that character because of the way it ended. And
Yeah.
he's kind of really not, you know, he kind of didn't want to touch that into, like, unless there's a good story that came out of it. But
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole Hugh Jackman thing with Wolverine. He thought he was done Logan, and then his friend Ryan Reynolds said, "Hey, you want to do Deadpool 3? Yeah, sure."
I mean, that was kind of the only way Hugh Jackman can come back, would be another variation of Logan.
So yeah, so we have to ask that question for this particular character. I'm pretty sure somebody in the comics will actually say who the character is, but we're not going to say it.
No, we're not.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to have obviously a couple of weeks before we do our next episode, and that's
Hmm.
probably going to be our season finale.
Yeah.
Now, whether we're going to do it on New Year's Eve this year, I'm not sure. We're going to do it the day before, but again, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna go over all the thoughts here, but we'll look back at, you know, 2025, our best moments of 2025. Feller obviously is going to come on to discuss all the shows that he's seen this year. So he will come on and discuss that, and other things we will discuss. So looking forward to the season finale.
Yeah. Oh, and also we should have also mentioned that after Wayne Forgano actually ends its run, the next show will be a Daniel Radcliffe one man show. So that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. For a lot of you who don't remember, Daniel Radcliffe was at the Hudson Theater the first time, when he did the show Merrily We Roll Along, with Jonathan Groff and I'm sorry, the actress name escapes me. Um, Hold on one second.
Yeah, maybe I should look it up too.
I apologize, everybody.
It's all right. They come to expect that of us. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, give us 1 second. Yeah, it was Lindsay Mendez.
Oh, there. I'm so sorry.
We apologize. Apologize. It was Lindsay Mendez. Um, so yeah, that this will be the second time he has come back to the Hudson Theater. So looking forward to see what that show is about, and we'll be there to see it when he comes back.
Yeah, there's even they even hinted that he might do an appearance in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child
I knew it.
because
I knew it. I told you.
He
I,
hinted at it, but I'm not sure if he was going to do it. He might not have enough time to do it in his schedule.
how could you not want to reunite with Tom for at least a
I
day or maybe
know,
a
I
week?
know, I know. Maybe it could be a good publicity thing. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Probably could be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. So, in case we don't see you before the next episode, happy holidays.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah for all of everyone who celebrates. Um, Merry Christmas. Hopefully we'll see you on New Year's. Hopefully we'll
Yeah,
be recording. If not, maybe before that, we will let you all know. But yes, happy holidays. And from me and Ian, we want to thank you all who's still tuning into our shows, our episodes. Thank you for staying with us. We really appreciate it.
yeah. Thank you for not skipping to the next channel. We appreciate it. And as always, hit that like button and subscribe.
Yes. If there's a favorite episode you liked for this year, please let us know in the comments. We'll very appreciate it.
Yeah. And if there's any movie reactions that you're interested in hearing about that we should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
let us know in the comments.
Absolutely. So thank you guys again. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And we're actually going to have more of a social media appearance in the new year. We've got a TikTok page, so we're going to be posting more of that.
Yes, please follow us on TikTok. It is created. So just go to TikTok and just type in Media Talk with Miller and Smith, and give us a follow. And we need your follows, guys. So please do that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be it for us tonight. I'm Ian Miller.
I'm Andrew Smith.
And this has been Media Talk with Miller and Smith. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
If you'd like to follow us on YouTube, just hit that like button and subscribe.